and then welcome to another video. Hope you're all doing great. It's been a long time since I made another educative video, but I think this would be the best of times to upload this one. Okay. In case you are new here, I would urge you to subscribe to the channel and then hit the bell icon. The reason why I keep saying you should hit the bell icon is that once you subscribe and then you don't hit the bell icon, you wouldn't get access to any video from this channel. Okay, and then this channel is mainly created for you, so just do your best, hit the bell icon, and then after subscribing, just like the video so that others would also get access to this educational video. Okay, right, let's just get right into this video. Okay, I know that this has been one of the anticipated videos, and then it's finally here, so I would urge you to maybe grab your pens and papers and then you follow me as I take you through the process. Okay, so this is all about studying smart, and then not hard. So most people come to the university and then they tend to learn like the way they did in SHS. Okay, yes, I always say that these methods do not actually work. Okay, so what we have to do is learn how to study less and then you study smart. Okay, so this video is all about taking you through how you could study less but studying smart and not hard. Okay, so let's just get right into this video. Once again, I will urge you to subscribe to the channel, hit the bell icon, okay, and then you like the video, and then we proceed from there. Hope you've already done that. Okay, let's proceed. Okay, so one of the things you need to know when studying less and then trying to not study hard is that you have to break your studies into sections. Okay, I've already stated this point in my previous videos. I always say that once you've dedicated yourself to studying smart and not hard, you have to break your studies into sections. Okay, so the only thing you have to do is that you give yourself an allocated time, maybe 1 hour, 2 hours. You break that specific time into sections. Okay, so it's going to be either 30 minutes with a 5 minutes break or an hour with a 15 minutes break. What you have to know is that the breaks are for road memorization. I will talk about that in the next video. That's the active recall, but this method is called the Pomodoro technique. Okay, breaking your studies into sections is called the Pomodoro technique. You could search online and then you find it. Okay, so what you are just doing is breaking your studies into sections. The reason why you do this is that the average human mind cannot focus like attentively for more than 25 to 30 minutes. Okay, so after 25 to 30 minutes you start feeling tired, you start feeling bored. So the reason why this Pomodoro technique is very important is that you have to trick your mind, you trick your brain that you are not tired. Okay, you trick your mind that you're trying to tell your mind that you are not tired, you are still active. Okay, so you just take breaks. Okay, take breaks, because the average human mind cannot concentrate for that much. Okay, so it's about 20 to 25 or 30 minutes. Okay, so after that you take breaks and then you move on. Okay, so let's move on to the next technique. Hope you understood this part. It's very, very crucial. Okay, let's move on. Okay, so the next point is you get yourself a dedicated study area. Okay, so most of the time, most people go to the I would say the library, or the fact is most people have their dedicated study area. I don't know which one works for you, but I usually studied in my room. Okay, so the reason why I used to study in my room is that by the time I start studying, my roommates might be asleep. Okay, even if they are not asleep, they might be doing something which would not distract me, because that might be at dawn. Okay, yes, so I don't know how most people study, but I would recommend you to study at a quiet place. Okay, so the place shouldn't be always quiet as such, but it has to get you in the groove to study. Okay, it's something like moving to a library where the place is very, very quiet. Okay, and one thing you have to know is that you have to get yourself a place where you could concentrate as much as possible. Without concentration, your work won't generate any effort for you. Okay, your work won't generate any results for you, even though you put in the effort to study smart and not hard. Your effort might be effortless because you are not gaining any benefits from what you are doing, because you might be in a place or at a place where people might be making noise, or you won't be able to concentrate. Okay, so get yourself a place or a room where you could concentrate fully, where you'll be in the groove to study. One more thing is that you have to make the place a study area for yourself. Okay, what I mean is that I remember one of my senior high school teachers told us a story. He said he used to apply the same pomade and then the same deodorant on his body when he goes out to teach a certain lady. Okay, so what he did was that he applied the same deodorant on himself when trying to teach that specific lady. Okay, so the lady went to write an exam, and then she was able to memorize and then produce the right answers. And then when the results came out, the teacher asked her why or how she was able to excel in the exams, and she was like, the reason was because of the deodorant the teacher applied on his body whenever he comes to teach her. Okay, so what I'm trying to arrive at is that try to get yourself in a groove. Okay, try to set yourself up at a place where it could help you remember stuff. Okay, it would help you recollect the stuff you learn, okay, before or during examinations. Okay, yes, so let's move on. Okay, so the next point is active recalling, active learning, or active recall. Okay, but this won't be a detailed explanation on active recall. It will just be a brief introduction to active recall, because this is not an active recall video. This is a steady learn, steady smart, and not hard video. Okay, so the next point is active learning. So what we mean by active learning is that some people go sit down on their desk and then begin to study, but what they are doing is that they are trying to study hard. Yes, that's the word I will use. That's the adjective I'll use. They are trying to study hard, but not active. There's a difference between studying hard and then studying active. Okay, so studying hard is just something like you are trying to recognize stuff. Okay, by just recognizing stuff, skimming through stuff, and then yeah. But active studying is when you involve memorization. Okay, and then you put pen on paper. Okay, so active learning could be divided into two. The first part is the facts. That's when during active learning you have to learn facts, and then you need to learn concepts. Okay, you need to learn concepts. Okay, facts and then concepts. So during when you are learning the facts, you have to. That's when you imply memorization. Okay, so I will do a video on active recall, so you get to know what active recall is, but this is just an introduction. Okay, so facts involves memorizing stuff. Okay, I'll elaborate on the memorization for you. That's when you will be able to wait till the end of the video. I have a pro tip at the end of the video. Okay, so stay with me, concentrate, and then let's go through this together. what you have to know is that there's a pro tip at the end of this video, so just stay with me till the end of the video, and then you know what I'm trying to reveal to you. It's mostly about road memorization. There's something we call road memorization, yes, and then with the road memorization we have active recall memorization, then we have active recall and spaced repetition memorization. Okay, so I'll elaborate more when we get to the active recall video. Okay, yes, so let's move on. Okay, so for the active learning, you have to, for the facts, so let's say it's an engineering course, but some of the engineering courses have theoretical courses. Okay, so that's where we learn facts. So I'll teach you how you could learn facts when it comes to those theoretical courses. Okay, let's move on to concepts. Let's move on to concepts. Okay, with the concepts, that's where you learn the most vital portions of the course material. Okay, so let's say you are learning something on heat. Okay, so you need to understand what heat is. Okay, you need to try to understand what heat really means. Okay, that's the active recall. Okay, that's active recall with memorization. Okay, so with the concepts, what you are trying to do is just understand the material. Okay, so after understanding the material, you try to recall what you've already studied. That's why you have active recall. I'll elaborate more on active recall. I don't want to introduce the active recall in this video, else it might sound confusing. Okay, so what you have to know is that for the concepts, it deals with putting pen on paper. Yes, fast deals with trying to memorize stuff, and then there are methods. There are specific methods you can use to memorize stuff. Those are the pro tips. There are two pro tips at the end of the video, so just stay with me and then you'll get to know what I'm trying to talk about. Okay, the concepts deals with, since you are an engineering student, you would be interested in the calculation portions of the lecture slides. Okay, so with respect to the concepts, you have to know how to arrive at specific answers whenever a question is brought up. Okay, so whenever the question is a technical question or a technical course, you need to understand the concept of the course and then know how to arrive at answers regarding those topics or subtopics in the course. Okay, so that's where you put pen on paper. In my previous video, you would recollect that I stated that you don't have to just skim through a calculation topic or a technical topic and then assume that you understand. Trust me, that would be the biggest mistake of your life. Okay, what you have to do is that you just have to go through the course material and then you start working things out with your hand. Okay, put pen on paper, try to solve the question so that you know that yes, you could really arrive at that answer, even if the same question doesn't come up in the exam but a similar one pops up. Okay, so the concepts deals with calculation. You try hands-on questions and then you try hands-on multiple quiz questions. Okay, you also quiz yourself. That's how you learn smart but not hard. Quiz yourself instead of going over and over the course materials. Just answer questions in the materials. Answer questions. Yes, it's not about revision and then recollection or whatever. Just answer questions. That's the way you can learn smart when it comes to engineering. Solve questions. Know how to arrive at questions. Okay, know how to arrive at answers of some questions. Answers of some questions that could be a bit complicated. Okay, so learn how to arrive at those answers. Put pen on paper and then solve the questions. Okay, yes, that's the only way. Once you try skimming through your course materials, you might even end up sleeping. Okay, yes, so once you put pen on paper, especially those who learn in the evening, don't sit behind an engineering course material and then start skimming through. You might fall asleep. I know some are happen to, especially continuing students. They might be reading through an engineering course and then by the end of the day they would find out that they learned nothing. They even ended up sleeping. Okay, so once you start solving questions, you start rejuvenating yourself. You will not even remember that you were the same person dozing off. Okay, so let's move on. Okay, so one thing you have to know is that most people come to the university or be in the lecture halls, and then sometimes they don't really understand what's going on in the class, and instead of them to ask questions, they feel shy. Bro or sis, nobody paid your school fees for you. Okay, your parents did, or maybe you yourself did. So don't feel shy to ask questions in class. Try to clarify things in the lecture halls than to go to your hostel and then try to understand the material on your own. Meanwhile, you can't. Okay, so either you try asking questions to get answers to your problems, or see the lecturer in his chambers, or in his office, so that he could explain things for you. When that happens, learning in your hostels or specific study areas becomes simpler. Okay, but when you don't ask questions and you don't understand certain portions of your lecture slides, you tend to waste time. Okay, you tend to waste time in your rooms or study areas where you tend to go over the material. Okay, yes, when you watch my previous videos, you learn how to go over materials, because trying to go to the lecture hall without going over a material becomes a bit difficult understanding some courses. Okay, so you have to learn, at least not learn, but go through the material before going to the lecture hall. And then at the lecture hall, the material tend to become easier to understand after the lecturer has gone through it. Okay, and then in case you don't understand the material after the lecturer has gone through it, just ask questions in class. Nobody paid your fees for you. Okay, ask the questions in the class, or either see the lecturer in his office to clarify stuff. Okay, that's the only way you could learn smart. When you do this, it makes it easier to understand course materials. Okay, because you might be more than, let's say, 50 in a class, and then you are trying to understand the course materials. Okay, so once you ask questions in the class, it becomes a bit easier. Okay, yes. Let's move on. Okay, so yes, the other point is that for theory courses, you have to use active recall in spaced repetition. Okay, I will do a separate video on active recall, so you'll get to know what active recall is all about. Okay, that's for theory. Some of the courses in engineering are theories based. Okay, so those courses you have to use active recall in spaced repetition. Okay, I'll dive more into that when I upload the active recall video. Okay, and then for the technical courses, put pen on paper. It's just simple. Engineering is not about reading, trust me. In case you knew engineering was about reading, I might urge you to either change your mindset or change your program. Okay, put pen on paper, try solving questions. That is the only way you could become perfect. Okay, yes. Okay, let's move on. So this is the pro tip. Okay, so you've gone through how you could easily study less and then you study smart. Okay, yes, not hard. This is the only way you could study less, study smart, and then not hard. Okay, so this is the first pro tip. You would remember I stated that with active learning, you need to learn facts, and then you learn concepts. Okay, so for the facts, the pro tip number 1 is either you use mnemonics. I don't know whether you know what I mean by mnemonics. Okay, so mnemonics is something like using acronyms. Yes, using acronyms. Those are mnemonics. You would remember you used certain acronyms when studying the periodic table. Okay, yes, that's one of the pro tip when it comes to learning facts. Those facts are they are very tangible when it comes to learning course materials. Okay, so the only way you could learn mnemonics is to use acronyms. Okay, this one is ROYGBIV. I know you might guessed already that it's the rainbow colors, ROYGB. Okay, yes. Okay, so let me talk about the type of students we have in this world. Okay, you would recollect that some of you like to learn whilst you have music playing in your ears. Okay, and then some of you will like to watch tutorial videos to understand concepts, and then others would like to learn out loud. What I mean by learning out loud is like saying whatever you've learned out. Okay, so you are an auditory learner. Okay, like after learning something, you try to explain to other people, or you try to say it out loud. Okay, so those students who usually learn with music are the kinesthetic learners. Okay, and then those ones who use tutorial videos or watch videos in order to understand concepts are the visual learners. Then those who say things out loud are the auditory learners. You have to identify yourself, okay, so that you would know what works best for you. As for this one, I don't know how to tell you whether you are a visual learner, but by this time, since from I guess from SHS till now, and then those in level 200, you might identify your study pattern already. Okay, it's either you are an auditory learner, kinesthetic learner, or a visual learner. Some people could be 2 or a 3. Okay, someone could be auditory, kinesthetic, and then visual. They could learn from every angle. Some too could be auditory or visual, auditory or kinesthetic or visual, or the other way around. Okay, so just identify what works best for you and then adapt it, and then you'll be fine. Okay, yes. You could also read more on this stuff, and then so that you get to know which one you are. Okay, yes. Either you are an auditory, visual, or kinesthetic learner. Okay, these people learn with music. This one, they say stuff out loud, and then the visual learners watch videos and stuff in order to grasp concepts or understand certain topics. Okay, let's move on to the pro tip 2. Okay, so the second pro tip before we end the video will be a breakdown of how active learning and then learning smart and not hard is all about. Okay, so let's take this one for example. Okay, so you could see from this presentation that you remember 5% of whatever you learn in the lecture halls. Okay, 5% of whatever you learn in the lecture halls. 10%, you remember 10% of whatever you read. Okay, this is the main concept of studying less and studying smart. Okay, and then you remember only 20% out of 100 of audiovisual learning, those who listen and then watch videos. Okay, and then you remember 30% once you do demonstrations. Okay, you learn via demonstrations. All these 4 types of study habits is what we call passive learning. You don't grasp concepts. Okay, you are not able to grasp concepts. You are just like rereading and then re-revising and highlighting notes. Trust me, I will talk about it in active recall. It's the one of the I wouldn't say useless, but it's the one of the most time consuming study habits you would ever introduce in your entire life. Just stop doing that. Okay, stop doing that. Stop highlighting and then rewriting notes and those stuff. It's just a waste of time. Now let's dive right into the main reason for this video, active learning. This is when you recollect 50% of whatever you learn. Okay, when you do discussions, you could recollect in my previous video that I highlighted that you could put together a study group, okay, so that you will discuss stuff you don't understand, okay, and then you recollect 70%. Yes, this is where the main trick is. You recollect 70% of whatever you learn once you practice. That's why I always say that once you are an engineering student, you have to put pen on paper. Without putting pen on paper, you might be wasting your time, okay? Put pen on paper. That's when you'll be able to recollect 75% of whatever you learn. And then the pro tip, the main pro tip is the 80%. No, that's 90%. You are able to remember 90% of whatever you learn once you teach others. I know some of you might have heard about this technique, teaching others, okay? Once you teach others, it enables you to stand out, okay? It enables you to understand the material, okay? Understand what the material is about, understand what even the lecturer is even trying to put across during lectures, okay? And then it enables you to learn beyond the ordinary. It enables you to grasp certain concepts, okay? But in case you are learning for yourself, you might hit an 80% retention, okay, instead of maybe a 90%, okay? So these are the pro tips, okay? You can recollect. So why don't you, if you don't even want to teach others, okay, why don't you practice questions? Yeah, you could recollect about 80% of whatever you learn in case you don't want to teach others, okay? So one thing I would urge you to do is, instead of teaching others, try teaching your pillow. Yes, try explaining stuff to your pillow. You have pillows in your room, you have beds in your room, try explaining stuff to anything you want to explain a certain concept to. It could be your laptop, it could be your phone. Try do that instead of opting to not teach others. Try to implement this method, okay? So by now I know that you've been able to understand the main objective of this video. I would urge you to subscribe to the channel, hit the bell icon. That's very important. Hit the bell icon so that you get access to every video I upload on the channel, okay? And then you like the video. Once you click on the video and then you start playing, just like the video, subscribe and hit the bell icon so that you get access to every video which is being uploaded on the channel, okay? I hope you've learned a lot, and then I know that you implement this in your future studies, okay? All the best. Bye bye.